They said women don't fight. Amma picked up her father's spear and never looked back. She won battles, buried friends, and wore her scars like armor. Then the prince came, with peace in one hand and betrayal in the other. Now surrounded by enemies, Amma must choose legacy or freedom. The sun in Barika sat heavy in the sky. Its heat touched every roof and every head. But inside the Okoye compound, the fire was not from the sun. It was the fire of grief. Amma stood beside her father's sleeping mat, where he had drawn his last breath just before dawn. The old warrior, Okoye, had been silent for many moons, wounded in a border raid. Amma's mother, Awil, wept quietly behind the woven curtain, but Amma did not weep. Her eyes were dry, like the river in Harmattan. Amma had always been strange, even as a child. While other girls pounded yam or learned songs for dance, she sat by her father, watching him sharpen his iron spear. She had never been allowed to touch it. Women do not fight, her Uncle Ikeen always said. That is how peace is kept. But peace had broken long ago, when the warriors of Kuta began raiding the border farms, stealing goats, burning yam barns. That morning, as they buried her father in the red earth, Amma's heart turned into iron at midnight. She crept into the small room where her father kept his old things. There it was, the iron spear. Its surface was dark with age, but still sharp. She picked it up. It hummed in her hands. Something awakened in her chest, like thunder trapped in her ribs. She walked outside under the moonlight, barefoot, and pointed the spear to the sky. She would fight. No one would stop her. The next day, she went to the council square. Men laughed at first. Amma, tall and lean, with ash still on her skin from the burial, looked wild. But when she drove the spear into the ground, the laughter stopped. "Give me one chance," she said. "Let me defend the border with the next patrol." Chief Ease, who had fought beside her father, watched her for a long time. Then he nodded. One chance. That night, Amma stood with 5 warriors at the forest edge. The wind was restless. Crickets sang like spirits. And when the Kuta raiders came out of the shadows, Amma did not scream. She moved like lightning, striking the leader with the butt of the spear, spinning, blocking, striking again. Blood spilled. Pain danced in her shoulders. But by the end of the night, 4 raiders were dead, 1 captured, and the rest fled. Amma stood in the dark, her breath ragged, her arms covered in blood, not hers. The warriors stared at her in silence. She had fought like her father. No, she had fought better to be dawn. The whole village had heard. They whispered in the market, at the riverbank, around cooking fires. Amma, the daughter of Okoye, held the spear. She fought with men. She killed. The whispers grew into awe, then worry. Some called her brave. Others called her cursed. Amma stood before the elders that afternoon, the iron spear. Beside her like a stubborn child. "You brought back victory," Chief Ease said, "but also shame. Women do not fight." Amma looked up. "Did the yam barn burn when women obeyed?" she asked. "Did the goats stop screaming because I stirred soup and not blood?" Silenced at it was Elder Nana who finally stood. "She has opened a door," he said slowly. "Let us see what walks through it." And so, Amma was given a place among the warriors, but with a bitter price. She must always fight at the edge, never lead, never eat with the men, never claim victory aloud. She agreed, not for praise, but for protection. In the next moon, 3 more raids came. Amma fought in all. Her spear found its mark again and again. Her arms grew strong, her eyes sharp, but every victory brought new wounds, some on her skin, many on her heart. She saw boys no older than her brother die under the spear. She watched mothers cry for sons she had struck down. But when she closed her eyes, she saw her father's cold hands. She fought harder, but peace never stays silent long. After the 4th raid failed, the Kutas sent a message, a boy tied to a stick, blindfolded, with a gourd hanging from his neck. Inside the gourd was a necklace made of teeth. From the Bone Prince, the message said, "He sends greetings to the Iron Girl." The council called a meeting in the sacred grove. Amma was not allowed to speak, but she stood outside the circle. Her body was tense like a drawn bow. The elders argued. Some wanted to send gifts to Kuta to beg for peace. Others said to strike. Before the Bone Prince sent real fire. That night, Amma stood alone by the river. The iron spear lay across her lap. She remembered the boy's face, pale from fear, not war. She touched the scar on her cheek, the one she had earned saving her comrade's life in the last raid. Each scar told a story, but was it a story of survival or madness? Then came Keen, her uncle. He sat beside her without a word for a long time. Then he said, "You fight for us, Alma. But who fights for you?" She had no answer. The spear in her hand suddenly felt too heavy, and as the moon climbed higher, Alma did not see the figure watching her from across the river. A figure cloaked in silver, riding a black horse, who would soon ride into Mbarika and change everything. His name was Prince Delu. The villagers of Mbarika rose early that morning, stirred not by the rooster's cry, but by the clatter of hooves and the ring of strange voices. Dust flew on the eastern path, and with it came riders, men in soft blue robes and golden belts. At the center of them rode a man with dark eyes and skin that glowed like polished bronze. His horse was taller than any in the village, and its hooves struck the ground like drums. Prince Dalu of Azaik had arrived. He was not a warrior, not in the way Alma knew warriors. He wore no armor. He carried no spear, but he had the kind of silence that filled a room. When he dismounted in the village square, all eyes turned. Women paused with baskets on their heads. Children stopped chasing goats. The prince bowed low before the elders, then spoke in a voice like rain on dry leaves. "I come not with a sword," he said, "but with a question." Chief Ease welcomed him with caution. "We hear many questions these days, and some are asked with blood." The prince nodded solemnly. "That is why I ask mine with words. I seek the Iron Girl." At this, the crowd stirred. Alma, watching from behind a millet stall, froze. Her hands clenched the spear she always kept at her side now, even in peace. "She is not for display," said Elder Nana. "She is our daughter, not a trophy." The prince only smiled. "Then let me speak to her. Not in a palace. Here, where the wind still tastes of smoke and bravery." Alma did not want to go, but the council summoned her. She stood before the prince in her battle wrap, arms folded, expression hard. Her braids were tied back, revealing the scar on her brow. The prince looked at her and saw not shame, but fire. "You are Alma," he said, "the one who bled so we could speak in safety." "I did not bleed for speeches," she replied. "Then for what?" he asked. "For silence," she said. "For quiet nights. For girls to walk to the river without looking over their shoulder." He said nothing for a moment. Then he said, "Your name crosses rivers. Some call you a warrior, others a curse. But I call you something else, hope." That word, hope, it did something strange to her chest. Not joy, not fear, just movement. And Alma did not know that her name had already passed the mouth of the Bone Prince. And that hope, in his world, was the most dangerous thing of all. Prince Dallas stayed in Barika for 3 suns and 3 nights. The people grew to like him. He walked among them, listened to their fears, asked about their crops. He helped the children gather firewood, and the old women said he had the spirit of a man twice his age. Some began to whisper that the prince had not come just to talk of peace, but of love. Alma hated the whispers. She watched him from a distance, eyes full of caution. When he sat near her during council meetings, she moved away. But he did not chase her. He waited. One night, he found her again by the river. This time, she did not tell him to leave. "I do not understand you," Alma said. "You speak like a man who has never seen blood. Yet you sit with killers and call for calm." The prince looked at the water. "My brother was killed when I was 16, he said softly, "speared through the chest. I held his body while he died. I know blood." His eyes turned to hers. "But I also know that revenge eats its own tail, like a snake." Alma said nothing, but something inside her shifted. A memory of her mother, sitting on a stool, wrapping cassava and banana leaves, singing softly. Before the war, before death, but peace was not ready to bloom. That night, the warriors of Kuta struck again. Not at the farms, but at the heart of Mbarika. 3 huts burned. A child was taken. The Bone Prince had left a message on the child's mat. A tooth, not from an animal, but human. The council gathered in panic. "They mock us," shouted one elder. "They spit on our mercy," yelled another. Alma stood up. Her voice cut through the chaos. "Give me 20 men. I will bring the child back." But Prince Dallas stepped forward. "No, he said, voice calm but firm. Send me. I know the roads they travel. I know the customs of Kuda. Let me go, and no one dies tonight. The council murmured. Amma's eyes burned. You will die, she said. Then let it be, he answered. Let it be for a child. She followed him as he packed his horse. This is foolish, she hissed. You speak peace to people who understand only fear. I speak peace to people who have forgotten how to dream, he said today as he rode away. Amma felt a cold wind touch her skin. For the first time since she picked up the spear, she was afraid, not of war, but of losing something she had not yet allowed herself to want. And deep in the shadows of the forest, a girl with black eyes and a jagged smile watched the prince's horse vanish. She turned to her master, the Bone Prince, and whispered, He has come, just as you said. The Bone Prince smiled. Then, let the Iron Girl follow. The forest of Kuda was not like the woods Amma had known. It breathed like a beast. The trees stood tall and close, like guards protecting secrets. The wind here did not sing. It murmured and listened. Somewhere in its belly, Prince Dalu rode alone, following the dirt path that had been trodden by warriors and ghosts alike. Amma waited until midnight before she followed. She left no message behind. Only her spear leaned against the firewood stand. Was missing. She tied her braids close to her scalp, wrapped herself in dark cloth, and slipped through the huts like a shadow. No one saw her leave, but the goats stirred as she passed. Even they felt the storm. The forest swallowed her quickly. Every footstep was a risk. Every sound, a warning. The deeper she went, the more her mind played tricks. Leaves whispered her name. Branches creaked like bones. And through it all, one question throbbed in her mind like a wound. Why did she care so much? He was just a prince, a stranger, a man with soft eyes and softer words. But somewhere between his talk of peace and pain, he had made space inside her armor. And now, she hated him for it. She moved faster, a broken twig, a spot of horse dung, a dropped fruit. Dalla was close, but so was danger. She felt it like heat on her neck. Then, screams. Not human. Horses. Metal clashing. A man groaned in pain. Amma ran. She found him in a clearing surrounded by 5 Kuda warriors. His robe was torn, his face bleeding, but he stood with a short blade in hand, fending them off. Without thinking, Amma leapt. She struck the first warrior from behind, spear slicing his back. Another turned too slow. Her spear met his gut. The third raised his axe, but Amma ducked, rolled, and rose behind him. In seconds, 3 were down. Dalu turned in time to stab the 4th with a lucky thrust. The last one ran. Amma stood over the prince, chest heaving. You said no one would die. He coughed, bloody. And you said I would. Then he passed out. They found shelter in an old hunter's hut deep in the forest. Dalu lay on a mat, pale, his breathing thin. Amma cleaned his wound with herbs she remembered from her father's hut. Bitter leaves, salt water, bark soot. Her hands shook. Fool, she muttered. Stupid, soft-tongued, peace-dreaming fool. But her eyes betrayed her voice. They were full of worried why morning, Dalu stirred. His eyes opened slowly. Did we win? Amma gave him water. No, we survived. He smiled weak. You came after me. I came for the child, she said. But her voice was too soft to be sharp. They rested that day. But the forest gave no peace. Birds flew in crooked patterns. The wind carried the scent of burning roots. Amma sat by the door, spear across her lap, eyes on the trees. Then, just before dusk, she saw her a girl, thin, about 15, wearing a necklace made of bones, human bones. Her eyes were black, empty. She stood at the edge of the clearing, watching, unmoving. Amma stood slowly. The girl raised her hand. He wants to speak, she said. Who? The girl tilted her head. The Bone Prince. Amma tightened her grip on the spear. Bring the child. Then we talk. The girl smiled. Bring your prince. Then we trade. Before Amma could speak, the girl turned and vanished into the trees, like smoke. Dalu sat up. Behind her, pain on his face. You can't go. It's a trap. Amma looked at him. Everything is a trap. But the child is still out there. Then let me help. No, her voice was steel. You're not strong enough. Stay. He grabbed her wrist. Amma, what happens to you? Happens to me. She pulled her hand away. That is your weakness. But her heart beat differently now. For the first time, She knew that she was no longer walking alone, and that scared her more than war. As she followed the girl's trail into the trees, night fell fast. Each step pulled her deeper into the world of the Bone Prince, a world where names were buried and eyes glowed like coals, and somewhere behind the trees, the Bone Prince waited. Not for peace, not for war, but for her. The girl with the bone necklace led Amma deeper into the trees. She never looked back, only floated ahead like a spirit that had long forgotten how to walk. Amma followed, every nerve in her body tense. The forest was darker here, choked with silence. Even the birds had stopped their songs. Then they arrived at a circle of black stones, a fire burning green instead of orange. Around it stood men with pale faces and eyes lined in ash. The Bone Prince sat on a high stool, carved from the stump of a dead Irako tree. His skin was pale for a man of the forest, stretched tight over sharp bones. His hair hung in thick cords, heavy with beads and feathers. And across his lap rested a spear, not of iron, but of sharpened bone. When he saw Amma, he smiled, wide and slow. "So the Iron Girl walks into my circle," he said. Amma said nothing. He gestured to a small mat. "Sit, speak, or strike. All three are welcome." She remained standing. "You took a child." He nodded. "And you've taken many. With your spear? From my village. From my family." Amma flinched. She had not expected that. "I did not know their names," she said quietly. "Neither do I know this child's," he said. "Fair, yes." Amma's grip tightened on her spear. The Bone Prince stood, moving slowly. "But I am not a monster. Amma of Mbarika. I do not burn for joy. I burn because your people forget. They forget who fed them salt during the flood, who gave them millet when their harvest failed. Kuta did. Once. Long ago." Amma's heart pounded. She had heard stories of Kuta and Mbarika once being allies. But that was before her time. Before her father's time. "What do you want?" she asked. He stepped close. "I want a trade. I give you the child. You give me the prince." She blinked. "What?" "Dalu of Azaik," the Bone Prince said with a crooked grin. "His father took something from me. I want him. Alive. In my hands." "No." Amma breathed. "Yes," he said. "You came for the child. Here is your choice. Give me one man. Save one child. Or walk away, and I kill them both." Amma's blood turned cold. The Bone Prince stepped back into the firelight. "Do not decide now. Return tomorrow. Bring the prince. Or bury the child in your dreams." The girl with the bone necklace reappeared, holding a cloth-wrapped bundle. Amma stepped forward. That it was the child's shoe. Amma returned to the hut at dawn. Her footsteps were slow, her chest heavy. The spear across her back felt like a lie. Inside the hut, Dalu had managed to sit up. He looked at her with tired hope. "The child, alive. For now." He nodded. "Then we move." "No," Amma said. Asterisk. She sat down beside him, unwrapped the bundle, and placed the child's shoe between them. He looked at it, and then at her. "What does he want?" She could barely say it. Her mouth refused the words. "You." Dalu leaned back slowly. "Of course he does." Amma turned to him, angry. "You knew? His brother died during a border fight. Years ago. My father refused to take the blame. It was complicated. You should have told me. You never asked." Silence fell between them like rain on dry leaves. Finally, he said, "So, you came to warn me, or hand me over." She looked at him, eyes hard. "Do not joke." "I'm not," he whispered. "I would go, willingly, if it meant saving the child." Amma stood. "You would die, and he would still burn our village." "Then let's fight." "No," she snapped. "This is not war. It's a message. He wants to break us from the inside." Dalu looked up at her. "And what do you want, Amma?" She opened her mouth, but the words would not come. She did not know. She only knew her chest ached when she looked at him. That every time she saved someone, she lost a part of herself. Amma turned away. "I will go back alone. There must be another way. You'll die? I've done worse." But she hadn't. This was worse. Choosing between a child's life and the man she was starting to need. A man who saw more in her than titles and scars. A man who made her feel like she could still be something beyond a spear. That night, as the fire burned low, Amma watched Dalu sleep. His chest rose slowly, uneven from his wounds. She touched her necklace, the one her mother gave her before the war began. For the first time in years, Her hand trembled. In the woods beyond the hut, something moved. A whisper. A figure. Watching the Bone Prince's message had been sent, but Amma was preparing one of her own. Amma returned to the bone circle the next night alone. She moved like a shadow, her body wrapped in silence, her thoughts louder than drums. The spear on her back felt heavier than ever, because now, it did not just carry iron. It carried doubt. The fire still burned green in the circle, and the Bone Prince sat waiting, fingers drumming on his knee like a snake waiting to strike. The girl with the bone necklace stood nearby, eyes glowing faintly in the dark. "I see you came empty-handed," the Bone Prince said. Amma said nothing. "You value the prince," he continued, smiling. "Good. That makes it sweeter. Let me see the child," Amma demanded. The Bone Prince stood and nodded. The girl vanished into the trees and returned moments later with a small boy, barefoot, thin, his cheeks hollow. His wrist was tied to a rope, and a fresh bruise bloomed on his cheek. Amma's heart clenched. The boy stared at her like she was a dream he had whispered in sleep. She stepped forward. "No closer," the Bone Prince warned. "Trade first." The prince for the boy. Amma raised her spear and pointed it at the ground between them. "I have a counteroffer." The Bone Prince laughed. "Do you? You want the prince? Fine. But if you break your word, if that boy dies after I hand him over, I will burn every tree you hide behind. I will spear your bones to the wind. Do you hear me?" The Bone Prince tilted his head. "You speak like a woman who loves." "I speak like a woman with nothing left to lose." He grinned. "Very well. We meet here tomorrow. Sunset. Bring your prince." Amma took one long look at the boy, memorizing every line on his face. She would get him back, one way or another. As she turned to leave, the girl with the bone necklace whispered, "You're brave." Amma didn't stop walking. "No, I'm angry." And beneath that anger, fear was growing fast, because she didn't know what she would do. Back at the hut, Amma didn't sleep. She sharpened her spear slowly, methodically, as Dalla watched her from the mat. The fire between them crackled, but neither of them spoke for a long time. Finally, he said, "I'm going." "No," Amma said. "I can't let you carry this. You're not mine to protect." "Then why are you doing it?" Amma stood. Her voice was sharp. "Because I have to. Because every time I close my eyes, I see that boy. Because I know what it feels like to be small and afraid and waiting for someone to come save you." Dalla looked away. "And if the Bone Prince kills you, then let him," she said quietly. "But he will not forget the pain I give him before I fall." He stood slowly, gripping the wall for balance. "Then I'm going with you. You can barely walk. Then I'll crawl." She turned to him, tears threatening behind her anger. "Why do you care?" "Because I've seen many warriors," he said, "but none who fought like you. And because if this is where your story ends, then mine ends there too." Something broke inside her then. Not weakness, but the last wall. The one she had built when her father died. The one that kept her heart from bleeding. And she realized, with cold dread, that the Bone Prince had seen something she hadn't. Amma's strength had become her weakness. At dawn, she gave Dalu sleeping herbs in his water. He drank it without knowing, and when he closed his eyes for the last time that morning, she wept, not because she had tricked him, but because she feared he would never forgive her. Then she took her spear, whispered a prayer to her mother, and vanished into the trees. The final choice was no longer about the child or the prince. It was about her, who she had become, and what she was willing to destroy to end the war. Amma returned to the bone circle before sunset. She came alone, dressed in black, her spear hidden beneath her wrap. The sky above burned red, like it knew what was about to happen. No birds sang, no crickets chirped. Even the wind held its breath. The Bone Prince waited by the fire, his eyes brighter than before, his face stretched with a smile too wide for his bones. He stood as she entered the ring, arms open like a father welcoming his child. "Amma," he said, voice smooth, "you kept your word. Where's the prince?" She didn't answer, not with words. She reached into her wrap, pulled out a clay pot, and dropped it between them. It shattered on the ground. Inside was Dalu's golden sash, the one he had worn when he arrived in Barika. The Bone Prince picked it up. His eyes narrowed. "A sash is not a prince." "He couldn't walk," Amma said, "but he sent his sign. You wanted something of his. That is it. Now give me the boy." The Bone Prince chuckled. No, that was not our agreement. Amma stepped forward. You break your word? I never promised to be fair, he said. Then he whistled. From the shadows came not just the girl with the bone necklace, but 10 warriors. Each held a curved blade, and behind them, tied to a tree, was the boy, alive, but crying, his face streaked with ash. Amma didn't flinch. The Bone Prince stepped closer. Do you know why I sent that child? He asked. Amma didn't answer. I wanted to see you. I wanted to test you. You, the Iron Girl. The shame of Mbarika. The girl who should have been married, not made into steel. He leaned close. And now I see it. You are more dangerous than any army. You are what they fear most. A woman who kills without flinching and loves without asking permission. Amma whispered, let the boy go. The Bone Prince smiled. No. And then she moved. Her spear spun from her back like lightning. She struck low, then high. The nearest warrior dropped before he could cry out. The others lunged, but Amma rolled, stabbed, kicked. The fire burst in her ears. Her world became sound and blood. She didn't count how many she wounded. She only kept moving. One blade sliced across her thigh. Another grazed her shoulder. But she was faster, smarter, angrier. She reached the boy, cut his ropes. Run, she shouted. He hesitated. Then he fled into the trees. The Bone Prince hissed and threw his bone spear. It missed her by inches, shattering against a stone. He lunged after it, but Amma turned, her breath ragged, her spear raised. You wanted war, she said. War, he laughed. This is only the beginning. Then he vanished into the forest, like smoke. Amma fell to her knees, blood soaking her wrap, and somewhere far away, the boy's cry echoed. Amma did not make it far. The bleeding from her thigh slowed her. Her vision blurred. Her limbs felt like they belonged to someone else. But she walked. The forest mocked her with every step. Branches clawing, leaves whispering, foolish girl, foolish girl. At last, she collapsed at the edge of a stream. The sun had sunk. The sky turned violet. And in the fading light, she saw a shadow running toward her. It was the boy. He had come back. She tried to speak. Her lips cracked. Her hands trembled. Behind him came another shadow, taller. Dalad. He looked half dead, still limping, still bruised, but alive. Amma, he shouted, falling beside her. What did you do? She tried to smile. Fought you. Time. You poisoned me, he said. You left me behind. I saved you, she whispered. The boy clung to her arm. Dalu held her head in his lap, tears running into her hair. Don't you die now, he whispered. Don't you leave me in this place. I'm not done yet, she breathed. They carried her back through the trees, moving slowly. The boy helped as best he could. Dalu kept whispering to her, telling her stories of Azaik, of the sea, of wild horses that danced during storms. When they reached the edge of the village, the sky broke open with thunder, and the people of Mbarika saw a broken warrior return, not in triumph, but in truth. Amma was carried into her mother's hut. The women gathered. They cleaned her wounds. They washed her face. They spoke softly. N01 called her a curse. Now N01 whispered shame. They only said her name, and meant it with reverence. That night, Dalu sat beside her, watching her breathe. The boy curled up by the fire, safe at last, and somewhere deep. In the forest, the Bone Prince stared into a mirror of polished horn. He traced his own reflection, and he said, let them celebrate. Let them love. Let them believe. I will burn it all. The village of Mbarika did not sleep. Word of Amma's return spread faster than the evening fire. Children whispered her name. Elders sat outside their homes, faces lit by flame and fear. Some called her a hero. Others, a curse returned. But all agreed. She had faced the Bone Prince and lived up. By morning, the council summoned an emergency gathering. Amma sat in her mother's compound, wrapped in cloth, her wounds still fresh. She tried to rise, but her body rebelled. Dalla held her hand firmly. You don't need to fight this one, he said. She looked at him. If I don't speak, they'll decide everything without me. You've done enough. No, she said. Not yet. The council meeting was held under the tall baobab. Amma limped in, her spear used as a cane. The crowd parted around her like a tide. Even Chief Ease, who once warned her not to fight, bowed his head as she passed. Elder Nana stood. This child, he began, has done what no man dared. She walked into the fire and returned with life. But she also brought war to our doorstep, said another elder, Elder Jide. The Bone Prince will come again, and now he will not send warnings. He will send fire. Amma stepped forward. He was coming anyway. Perhaps, Jide spat. But now you've made yourself a symbol. And symbols draw blood. Dalla spoke next. She acted when no one else did. She protected your sons. She saved a child you didn't even bother to name. The crowd murmured. Then someone shouted from the back, "She bleeds like a warrior. Let her lead like one." More voices rose, some in agreement, some in fear. Amma raised a hand. "I don't want power," she said. "I want truth. You've fed lies to this village for too long. You pretend peace is made by silence. But peace is forged in fire, and I've walked through it." Chief Ease looked at her for a long time. "And what do you suggest we do, Amma?" She stood taller, though pain flared in her side. "We prepare, not for war, but for survival. We train every child who can hold a stick. We build traps. We send word to the border tribes. If Kuta wants fire, we'll give them ash." The silence that followed was heavy. Then, slowly, one elder nodded, then another, and another. Amma had not asked to lead, but they had chosen her all the same. The Bone Prince sat on a cliff that overlooked the forest. His cloak flapped like wings behind him. Beside him knelt the girl with the bone necklace, her eyes wide, waiting. "She is still alive," the Bone Prince murmured. "And now, she leads." "Shall we strike now?" the girl asked. "No," he whispered. "We do something worse. We send her what she fears most." The girl tilted her head. "Death." "No," he said, his grin twisting. "Doubt." He opened a satchel and pulled out a clay doll. It looked like Amma, braided hair, iron spear, blood on its face. Then he crushed it in his hand. "Tell the spies to move. Let the village trust her. Let them follow her into fire. And when the fire burns, we step in and crown the ashes." Back in Barika, Amma stood beneath the mango tree where her father once trained. Children gathered. Before her, boys and girls both. Some held sticks, others held nothing but wide eyes. She pointed to the ground. "Stand your feet like roots. If you move too fast, you fall." She began teaching, not just how to fight, but how to survive. Dalla stood beside her, watching her become something greater than a warrior. A leader, a flame. That night, as they sat outside the hut, he handed her a carved ring made of palm wood. "What's this?" she asked. "Something I made," he said. "I don't know what this means yet, but I want it to mean something. One day." She held the ring in her hand. It was small, plain, but it made her feel like the world was not just war. And, for a moment, she believed peace was possible. But in the trees beyond the village, a figure watched. Cloaked in red, face covered, silent, eye in its hands. It held a torn strip of blue, Dalu's robe. And in the eyes behind the mask, there was only one thought: divide them. And they fall. 3 moons passed. Barika changed. Smoke no longer rose from burnt farms. The forest edge, once feared, now hummed with the sound of training. Children drilled at sunrise. Young women carried sharpened sticks through the village like spears. Even the elders, stiff in their bones, learned how to drop and roll in case of fire. Amma became more than legend. She became rhythm. Every step, every word, moved people to act. And with her beside him, Dalu became a new kind of prince, one who walked without guards, who helped reinforce walls, who spoke softly but made even warriors stop and listen. The village began to dream. And that's when the nightmares returned. It started with a drum. A small one, left at the shrine. Its skin stretched tight, painted with a single red handprint. Elder Nana touched it first. His fingers began to bleed before he could drop it. It was cursed, someone said. Others said it was a warning. The next day, too, hunters disappeared from their patrol route. Their bodies were found near the stream. No wounds, no marks, but their mouths were stuffed with ash. Amma stood over them, face unreadable. Dalu beside her. "This is the Bone Prince," she said. But that night, when the warriors gathered, a new voice rose. It was Elder Jide. "Is it?" he asked, looking at the crowd. "Or is it her? Wherever she walks, death follows. Wasn't it?" After she picked up the spear that Kuta turned from raids to war. Murmurs. Eyes shifting, Amma stepped forward. "You accuse me?" "I ask," he said, smiling tightly. "Do you bring victory A ruin? For the first time in weeks, Alma felt fear. Not from the forest, but from the people. She looked to Dalu, expecting his voice to rise like it always had. But he was silent, his eyes unreadable. Later, when she asked him why, he only said, "It's better not to answer when the crowd is angry. Let them tire." She turned away from him that night. And for the first time since she picked up the spear, she felt truly alone. The next morning, Dalu was gone, his mat cold, his sash missing. No note, no witness. Alma searched every corner of the village, heart thundering louder than war drums. She ran to the forest's edge. Nothing, only wind and leaves. When she returned, Elder Jide was waiting at the council hut. "I warned you," he said, smiling. "The prince is not one of us." Alma shoved past him, her fists clenched. That night, while others whispered about betrayal, she found a clue, a tuft of cloth caught in the thorns at the edge of the goat trail. Pale blue, the same shade as Dalu's traveling robe, and something else, footprints, not one man, but three. Alma followed the trail deep into the forest, her wound from weeks ago aching, but her resolve sharper than ever. Then she saw it, a small clearing. A fire. 3 figures. Dalu stood with 2 men from Azaik, his father's royal scouts. He did not look captured, he looked in command. Alma stepped into the firelight, his face froze. "Alma," she raised her spear, not to strike, but to steady herself. "So this is where you ran?" "It's not what it looks like," he said quickly. "Then explain fast," she whispered. The scouts stepped back. Dalu waved them away. "I sent word to Azaik weeks ago. I wanted to bring help. Horses, soldiers. But my father refused. Said Mbarika was not his problem. And now, he wants something in return," Dalu said. "An alliance. A treaty. But only if I marry one of the northern princesses. It was agreed before I came." Alma blinked. "Before you came? Before you stood beside me? Before you handed me a ring?" His silence was the answer. Her spear dropped to the earth. "I never meant," he began. "Don't," she said. Her voice cracked. "You used me. You used us." "No. I love you. But this is bigger than me," she snapped. "Say it. Say I was your tool." "No," he whispered. "You were my shield. My fire. But I couldn't stop what my father had planned." Tears gathered in her eyes, but she didn't let them fall. "Then you go to your father," she said. "Take your horses. Take your gold. And when the Bone Prince comes, tell him Barika stands alone." He stepped toward her. She stepped back. And just like that, the last thing she trusted broke. She vanished into the trees, and he didn't follow. Behind her, the forest held its breath, because it knew the Iron Bride was burning again. But this time, not for love, for war. Alma did not return to her mother's compound that night. She slept in the old yam barn, alone. Her head rested on dry husks. The ring Dalu carved for her lay buried in the dirt beside her, smashed into 2 crooked halves. She hadn't cried. She wanted to. But something inside her had locked shut. By dawn, the village was already murmuring. The scouts from Azaik had arrived, dressed in fine cloth and armed with clean spears. They spoke of alliances, of supplies, of marriage contracts. Some villagers cheered. Others stayed silent. But the elders listened, especially Elder Jide. Alma arrived at the council square without invitation. She stood barefoot, her face covered in ash, her spear resting on her shoulder like a challenge. Dalu stood beside the scouts. His robe was straight again. His words were smooth. "I bring you protection," he said. "But only if we become one with Azaik. One people, one purpose." Elder Jide nodded. "And how do we do that, Prince?" "A wedding," Dalu replied. "As was promised before my journey." The people looked toward Alma, some hopeful, others afraid. Alma didn't speak at first. She stepped forward, picked up the broken ring halves from her cloth bag, then dropped them into the center of the circle. "I was never your bride," she said to Dalu, "but I was your sword. You broke both." Then she turned to the people. "You want Azaik's help? Take it. But understand this, they will call it a marriage. But it is a funeral for your voice, your name, your land." Elder Jide slammed his staff on the ground. "Enough. You forget your place." Alma stepped forward, eyes blazing. "No, I just finally see it." She turned to the crowd. "You made me your fighter when it suited you. You sang when I killed for you. But now, you fear the shadow I cast. You fear what you cannot tame. Then she looked straight at Dalu. I loved you. Once. I would have died beside you. But now, if I see you on a battlefield, I will not hesitate. And then she walked away to No one stopped her. They couldn't, because in that moment, Amma stopped being a woman. She became a storm. That night, Amma returned to the riverbank where she had first met Dalu. She didn't come to remember him. She came to let him go. She knelt, tore a strip from her old wrap, and tied it to a nearby branch. A farewell, a marker. Then she stood, heart empty but eyes clear. That's when she saw the girl again, the one with the bone necklace, standing across the river, no longer hidden in shadow. But something was different. No bones in her hair, no dark paint on her skin. Just a girl, maybe 16, barefoot and trembling. You followed me? Amma asked. The girl stepped forward. I was sent to watch you, but I stayed because I wanted to understand you. Amma's voice was sharp. You're his. You brought me the child's shoe. You led me into that circle. I was raised in his camp, the girl said. They told me Mbarika was greedy, that your people burned our crops, that you were monsters. And now, the girl looked down. Now I see you bleed. Like us. Hurt. Like us. Amma crossed the river. Slowly. Carefully. What's your name? The girl hesitated. I don't remember. They gave me no name. Just the necklace. Amma untied the necklace gently from the girl's throat and dropped it into the river. Then you'll need a new one. The girl looked at her, eyes wide. What will you call me? Amma looked toward the stars. Let's start with truth. The girl smiled. I want to fight with you. Amma paused, then nodded. Not all weapons are iron. Some are made of second chances. They walked back together. Quiet, but no longer afraid. Behind them, the river flowed on, washing away old names, old lies, and the last ashes of a broken love. The Bone Prince had sent a spy, but Amma had found a sister, and soon, the war would see both of them standing, side by side, scars on their skin, fire in their blood. The girl who had no name was faster than most warriors. In 2 days, she learned every trap Amma knew. How to tie a thorn vine that could trip a goat at full speed. How to hold a spear so the wind didn't betray it. How to move between trees without breaking a single leaf. Amma watched her closely. She didn't trust easily, but she saw something in the girl's eyes that reminded her of herself before the iron, when fear was loud, but rage was louder. The villagers, however, didn't welcome her. They whispered when she passed, called her Bone Girl. Some refused to sell her food. Children ran from her shadow. Even warriors Amma had trained began to hesitate when she joined the drills. One evening, Elder Jide confronted Amma in the square. You bring a dog from the enemy's yard and feed her in our kitchen, he said. You think she won't bite you when the night comes? Amma stood still, calm, but her voice was fire. She already knows how to bite. I'm just showing her where to aim. Elder Jide spat on the ground. You think yourself wise, but the people follow shadows now. They fear your fire, girl. They fear what you're turning into. Amma leaned close. Good. Let them fear me. That night, she sat with the girl under the stars and told her a story she hadn't told anyone. Not even Dalu. When I was 12, I watched my mother fight off a thief with a wooden spoon. Not because she was strong, but because she was alone. She fought like she had no one left to help her. And I swore then, I'd never need saving. The girl nodded, eyes bright. You never did. Amma gave her a small blade. Take this. You've earned it. But remember, this village will never truly claim you. You'll always be between two worlds. The girl smiled for the first time. Then I'll be a sword with no tribe. Amma smiled back. Sometimes that's the sharpest kind. The forest near the western border erupted and smoke. 3 farms burned in a single night. The air carried the scent of roasted yams and charred fear. Livestock wandered into the bush. People woke to find ashes where their homes once stood. The Bone Prince had returned. This time, he left no message. Only the black feather of a vulture speared into the soil at each burned compound. Amma rode to the western ridge at first light, her legs still stiff from her old wound. The girl rode behind her, scanning the trees like a hawk. When they reached the ruins, there were no bodies, only a strange circle drawn in the dust. A spiral with symbols Amma didn't recognize. The girl stopped cold. What is it? Amma asked. The girl pointed. That's not Kuta writing. That's a Zyke. Alma's blood froze. Izike. She knelt and traced the symbols with her fingers. They weren't just warnings, they were marks of claim, Daladat, or someone sent by him. Alma returned to Mbarika in silence. Her mind churned like a boiling pot. That evening, as the council met, she laid the symbols before them. This is not just a Kuda war, she said. Izike is moving, and they will not come with peace baskets. Chief Ease looked troubled. The prince said nothing of this. Perhaps another faction. No, Alma cut in. He knew. Maybe he didn't order it, but he allowed it. Elder, Jide, smug, said, then your heart has finally caught up with your head. Alma ignored him. We need allies. Real ones. The border villages. The hunters in the east. The stone builders near the hill. You think they'll listen to you? A councilwoman asked. Alma looked around the fire. No, she said. But they'll listen to fear. And with that, she stood and walked away, already drawing a map in her mind. Back at her compound, she sat with the girl and handed her a new wrap, dyed in red and gray. A warrior's wrap. You still want to stand beside me? Alma asked. The girl nodded. Even if you fall. Alma stared into the fire. Then let's build something worth falling for. 3 days, 3 rivers, 7 villages. Alma and the girl, now called Sorrow, meaning truth that walks, traveled faster than even trained warriors could track. They wore plain clothes, no clan marks, no titles. But their presence carried weight. Every village knew the name of the Iron Girl. Some welcomed her. Most didn't. The first village chief in Anudo refused to even meet her. He sent his son instead, a boy with soft hands and a crooked smirk. He offered her roasted maize and mockery. You speak of war, he said. But we hear the Bowen Prince has never touched Mbarika directly. Alma didn't blink. You only hear what hasn't burned yet. He laughed. We have deals with Kuda. Their warriors drink our palm wine. She left him with one sentence. You'll be feeding them your dead next. The second village was worse. In Kila, the elders greeted her with a drum song, then asked her to marry their chief's widow's son. In exchange, they'd send 3 hunters and 2 goats. Alma smiled politely, then turned and walked out without a word. Only in the third village, Aguda, did someone truly listen. A tall woman named Ife, leader of a clan of builders. She wore no jewelry. Her arms were thick with years of lifting stone, not silver. She listened to Alma's plan, listened to Sorrow's story, then stood and said, we have no warriors, but we can make walls. That night, Alma watched their masons draw quick sketches on leaves. You hold the river, Ife said. We'll shape the stones. It wasn't everything, but it was something. The beginnings of an alliance built not on blood, but on shared fear. Sorrow whispered, you're building a village from dust. Alma replied, no, I'm building a fire that doesn't need to burn people. When Alma and Sorrow returned to Mbarika, they found feathers tied to every hut, not bird feathers. Black, thick, vulture feathers, left in silence, like a hand brushing your neck while you sleep. People stood frozen outside their homes. No one dared to touch them. In the council square, Elder Jide stood before the gathered villagers. This is her doing, he shouted. The Iron Girl's war has invited death. She walks with shadows, and now shadows live in our roofs. Alma stepped into the circle. Who placed the feathers? She demanded, in no answer. Who saw the ones? Who tied them? No eyes met hers. Sorrow stepped forward and pulled a feather from a hut's ledge. She sniffed it, ran her fingers down the quill. This isn't Kuda, she whispered. It's Izike's warning. Alma's breath caught. Dalu Jide seized the moment. The prince gave us a way out. Marriage, trade, soldiers. And this one spat on it. And now the prince sends feathers instead of flames. But it is still fire. Alma didn't respond. Not immediately. Then she walked into the granary. There, buried beneath dry cassava, was a satchel, one she recognized. Izike stitching on the side. A sealed scroll inside. A single line written in fine script. One more word from her mouth, and Barika burns. She walked out with the scroll in hand. Raised it high. Asterisk, this is not peace. This is not alliance. This is a threat. The crowd murmured. She pointed to the horizon. We built this village with our hands. We held our borders with blood. We do not kneel. Not to vultures. Not to princes. Jide shouted. Then lead us. Into ruin. Alma turned to him. I'll lead you to the truth. What you do with it is up to you." And then she tore the scroll in half. That night, she stood at her father's grave with Sorrow beside her. "They'll come soon," Sorrow whispered. "Both Kuda and Izaik." Amma's eyes were on the sky. "Then let them come." She wasn't Barika's Iron Bride anymore. She was its shield, and she had no plans to break. The drums began before dawn. Not the drums of Barika. Their rhythm was known, trusted. These were deeper, slower, like heartbeats made from bone. They came from the eastern trees and rolled across the earth like thunder on tired feet. Amma rose before the sky did. She stood in the square, barefoot, her spear sharpened, her face already smeared with ash and camwood. Sorrow stood beside her, silent, her dagger tied to her back, her new wrap stained with charcoal stripes. Villagers gathered in silence. Children held sticks. Old women tied red cloth around their waists. Warriors stood behind Amma, waiting. Chief Ease approached, his voice grave. "Scouts confirm. Kuda and Izaik marched together. 2 forces, 1 breath." Amma's jaw tightened. "So the Bone Prince finally found a brother in the man who once said he loved me." Elder Jide stepped forward. "There's still time to bend. Izaik only wants control, not blood." Amma faced him. "Then you go kneel for both of us." He fell silent. The village had no gates, no walls, but Amma's voice became both. Asterisk, she turned to the people. "Today, you will bleed. Some may die, but if we run, they will not stop at our goats or yam barns. They will take our names, our daughters, our stories. So if we fall today, let us fall standing." She raised her spear. The warriors raised theirs. Children beat their sticks on the ground. Sorrow let out a battle cry that rose into the sky like lightning. Then the first arrow fell. The first wave hit the east ridge. Kuda warriors came in curved formation, faces painted white, spears long and stained. But they didn't expect what they met. That Amma's traps sprang like vengeful spirits. Thorns caught ankles. Hidden pits swallowed 3 at once. Flaming oil poured from clay pots in the trees. Still, they came. Amma fought like the stories said. No, fiercer. Her spear moved like it was alive. Every thrust wrote a warning in blood. Every scream behind her reminded her who she was fighting for. Sorrow fought at her side, slicing knees, dragging wounded warriors to safety, screaming names Amma had never heard, for her sisters who never came home. But by midday, the second wave came down to Izaik's soldiers, clean, armored, disciplined, and at their front rode Dalu. Amma saw him, robes black, eyes unreadable, sword drawn. He rode past his own dead, never flinching. And when he dismounted, he stood before Amma, alone. The battle paused around them, like the world itself held its breath. "Step aside," he said. "Say it louder," she replied. "So they know you came to kill the girl you once promised peace to." His lips trembled. "I begged my father not to come." "You begged him quietly," she snapped. "You could have stayed. You could have fought. I'm trying to end this. So am I." And then she charged. Their blades clashed in the middle of the field. She knew his movements. He had once danced with her. He knew her rhythm. He had once watched her train. It made them deadly. They fought like thunder fighting fire, neither giving, both destroying. Finally, she caught his blade and twisted. It dropped. She pinned him to the earth, her spear to his throat. He stared up at her, breathless. "Amma," she didn't move. "Do it," he whispered. "I deserve it." She raised her spear, but didn't strike. "I want you to live," she said, "so you can see what I become without you." Then she turned, and all of Mbarika saw her standing over the prince who betrayed her, unbroken, unmarried, unbent, the Iron Bride of Mbarika. Not a symbol, not a soldier, but a storm. And the war wasn't over. It had just begun. The moment Amma stepped away from Dalu, the field erupted. Izaik's soldiers charged. Mbarika's warriors roared. Arrows flew like angry birds. Spears met shields. Screams broke through the dust like curses loosed from the gods. Amma didn't look back at Dalu. She couldn't. She became motion, nothing else. Her arms a blur, her feet lightning, her spear an extension of her breath. She struck, ducked, spun, blocked. Her body screamed with pain, but her rage was louder. Sorrow fought near the granary, leading younger fighters. She moved through Izaik's men like she belonged to the wind, carving space for children and elders to escape into the forest paths. But Mbarika was bleeding. and Amma knew it. When she reached the council square, the baobab tree, the heart of the village, was on fire. Its branches screamed as they burned. The sky above it turned black. Chief Ease was there, back pressed to a wall, a sword in one hand and a bloodied cloth in the other. He looked up as Amma arrived. "We can't hold," he said. "You have to," she replied. Just until, before she finished, 3 Azaik soldiers burst into the square. One charged Ease. Amma leapt between them, her spear driving straight through the man's ribs. She turned in time to block the second, but the third swung low, slicing into her calf. She staggered. The soldier raised his axe. Then a scream cut through the air, and Sorrow appeared, slashing the man across the neck. Blood sprayed the stones. Amma fell to one knee. "We're losing," Sorrow said, panting. "They keep coming. Then we burn it all," Amma whispered. They gathered in the sacred hut. Amma, Sorrow, Ease, the last few warriors, the wounded, the dying. "We collapsed the fields," Amma said. "Block the enemy from food." "We've already done that," Sorrow replied. "But it's not enough." Amma looked around the room. "We draw them into the inner square, then set the oil lines." "You'll burn your own home," someone whispered. Amma nodded. "Let them taste what they came to steal." Just then, a messenger boy stumbled in, his face pale. "He's asking for you." "Who?" Amma asked. "Prince Dalu." "Alone?" Amma tightened her grip on her spear. She found him in the field near the river, the same one where he once told her about the brother he buried. His sword was gone, his robes torn. Blood ran down one arm. "I've surrendered," he said before she spoke. "I told them to stop." She didn't answer. "They won't listen now," he went on. "My father sent someone else to command. A general. A butcher. I don't even know his name." "You started this," Amma said. "I tried to end it." "You always say that," she said coldly. "And people always die anyway." He stepped closer. "I still love you." She laughed bitterly. "Then you should have never left." She turned, but he grabbed her wrist. "Amma, let me help. Let me at least die on the right side." She paused for one breath, two, then nodded once. He followed her back into the village. But not everyone welcomed him. Some spat, some threatened. Sorrow stared at him with a look that could cut stone. "He walks like a man who's come to finish the kill," she said. "I'll watch him," Amma replied. But she didn't see the fourth man watching from the shadows. The new general, face painted red, eyes pale and empty. His men called him the Vulture. That night, under the baobab's burning limbs, Dalu sat beside Amma and handed her a water gourd. "Peace," he said. She drank, and within moments, her hands began to shake. Her spear fell from her lap. Her vision swam. Dalu caught her as she slumped, whispered, "Forgive me." The world tilted, and Amma, Iron Bride of Mbarika, fell into darkness. Betrayed once more by the hand that once promised love, Amma awoke in silence. Not the silence of rest, the silence of something missing. Her spear, her strength, her body lay heavy on a woven mat inside a small hut. Familiar, but wrong. She tried to move, but her wrists were bound in front of her. Leather cords, strong, worn from practice. She turned her head slowly and saw Dalu sitting by the doorway, face in shadow. He didn't look at her. "You drugged me," she said, her voice like cracked stone. "I had to." "You didn't." He looked up now. His eyes were red. "The Vulture threatened to raise Mbarika if I didn't hand you over alive. He wants you broken, not dead." Amma laughed. It was low, bitter, hollow. "And you agreed. I thought I could protect you from the inside. You thought you could cage me." "I thought," he whispered, "that if I gave them you, maybe they'd leave the rest." Silence stretched between them. "I would have died for you," Amma said. "I know." She sat up slowly. "Then you should have let me." A moment passed. Then she spat at his feet. "You're not a prince. You're a leash." He didn't speak. Again, that night, while the guards rotated shifts outside the hut, Amma stared at the stars through a crack in the thatched roof. She didn't cry. She didn't beg. She waited. She remembered her father's hands, rough, warm, always steady. Her mother's voice, soft even in anger. The spear, the first time she held it. The way it hummed like it knew her. She wasn't a prisoner, not truly, because she had something no rope, no man, no prince could take. Her purpose. Sorrow didn't sleep that night. She stood at the edge of the granary ruins, blade in her hand, eyes fixed on the campfires rising from the far field. Isaac's new command post. Amma was gone, taken by the man who once promised to stand beside her. She had seen the signs, felt the wrongness. But Amma had hope where sorrow only had memory. And now hope was bleeding in a stranger's tent. She turned to Chief Ease, who stood nearby with the last of the warriors. "We strike tonight," she said. That he looked unsure. "We have too few. Then, we use shadows, like they did to us." They moved fast. 5 warriors, Sorrow leading. They crawled through tall grass, slipped past sleeping horses. When the first soldier saw her, it was already too late. Her blade was in his throat before he could shout. They reached the hut. Sorrow kicked it open. Amma blinked against the sudden light, then smiled, despite the blood in her mouth. "Took you long enough." Sorrow grinned. "You owe me yam." They cut the cords. Amma stood, her legs weak, her pride unshaken. Outside, chaos erupted. Someone had spotted them. Horns blared. Steel rang out. Sorrow tossed Amma a dagger. "It's not a spear, but it'll do." Amma took it. "I'll make it sing." They fought back to back, blades flashing. Dirt flying. Amma's wounds reopened. But she didn't slow. They cut their way through the camp, reached the forest line, ran like hunted lions. Behind them, the vultures stood at the edge of the firelight, watching the women vanish into the dark. He didn't shout, he didn't chase, he smiled. Because the real plan had just begun. Mbarika smoldered, not in ash. In silence, the day after Amma escaped, the vultures' soldiers returned, not with blades, but scrolls. Not with war cries, but a cold, strategic calm. Each scroll bore the seal of Isaac. Each offered the same deal: lay down arms. Accept a new governor. Dismantle the warrior ranks. In return, your homes will be spared. Your children will eat. And your iron bride will be left untouched, so long as she disappears. The council was split. Chief Ease, worn from weeks of battle, leaned heavy on his cane. "Our blood has bought us time, but not peace." Elder Jide, gleeful, cried, "Take the offer. Let the girl go. Her war was never ours." The people turned, their eyes toward Amma, newly returned, her wounds stitched by Sorrow's careful hands, her face lean, her voice calm but cold. "I never asked to lead," she said. "I picked up a spear to protect. And if you now want to give it all away for the price of comfort, then at least be honest. Say it was fear that defeated you." Jide hissed. "And what would you have us do? Burn what's left? Die in the name of your pride?" Amma stepped forward. "No, I would have us fight not for me, not for spears, but for the right to choose how we live. Not under a prince, not beneath a mask, but on our own feet." The silence afterward felt like thunder, holding its breath. Then a voice rose. It was Sorrow. "I fight." Another voice. "I follow the Iron Bride." Then another, and another, until the entire square, every old woman, every orphaned child, every tired hunter, stood with fists raised. Amma did not weep, but something inside her cracked open, not from pain, from pride. They came at dawn. The vulture led them, eyes dead, armor black as charcoal. No Dalu, just fire, soldiers, and the promise of an easy victory. But what he met at Mbarika's border was not a broken village. It was a wall of people. No gate, no shield. Just Amma at the center, clad in red ash, a spear in one hand, Sorrow at her side with a curved blade, and the women of Mbarika shoulder to shoulder. Old men threw stones. Children screamed warnings from the trees. Traps sprang, arrows fell, and Amma moved like a spirit of vengeance. The vulture charged her himself. Their clash was terrible. That he fought with brute strength. She fought with memory, rage, and rhythm. His axe broke through her guard once, but she kept standing. She struck back, spear to throat, then knee, then ribs. Blood sprayed. He fell, but not before he hissed, "There will be others. Always." Amma didn't reply. She ended it. The sun broke through the trees as his body slumped, and the field was silent. No cheering, only breath, heavy, shaking. Mbarika had survived, not untouched, but unbeaten. That evening, Amma stood outside her father's grave. The spear lay beside it. She pressed her palm to the earth. "I never wanted to lead," she whispered. "But maybe I was meant to light the way." Behind her, Sorrow approached. They're waiting. They want to know what's next. Amma turned, not with fire in her eyes, but with calm. Next, she said, we teach. Not just how to fight, but how to build. Sorrow smiled. So you're still their bride. Amma looked back at the village, where mothers sang as they rebuilt walls, and children played with wooden swords, not real ones. No, she said. I'm not anyone's bride. I'm their beginning.